Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, that's PTK. Today we're going to discuss about object-oriented programming. Python is a multi-paradigm programming language. It's supported by different program approaches. One of the popular approaches is object-oriented programming, also called as OOPS, which is used to solve a programming problem by creating objects. OOP is a method of structuring a program by bundling related properties and behaviors into individual objects. Object-oriented programming features such as inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. We already discussed about OOPS terms such as class, objects, methods, and inheritance, etc. So in this video we are going to discuss about polymorphism. Polymorphism means many forms. Polymorphism is an important feature of object-oriented programming, OOPS. Today in this video we will discuss about polymorphism, different types of polymorphism, and how we can implement them in Python. We will get into the details of the polymorphism in the Python in the following sequence. If you don't know, if you didn't understand, let me see the example of polymorphism. That is yourself in real life. That is real life example. For example, like when you're in class, in your school, you will act like a student. When you're at home, you act like a brother, sister, son, or daughter. And you act as a friend when you're surrounded by your friends. So that's why you're a polyformatic method. So we're going to discuss today is what is polymorphism. Polymorphism in Python, polymorphism with functions and objects, polymorphism with class methods, polymorphism with inheritance. Let's discuss the first point, that is, what is polymorphism? One of the important concepts under object-oriented programming is polymorphism. The word polymorphism is based on the Greek words poly means many and morphism means form. So that's why the polymorphism means many forms. The word polymorphism means many forms. In programming, polymorphism means to use the same function but different signatures. Signatures means parameters being used for different types. Polymorphism gives you the ability to represent objects of different types using a single interfere. Python inbuilt polymorphic methods. Example: Python can implement polymorphism in many different ways. Python provides built-in implementations of polymorphism. The length method that returns the length of an object. Length is being used for a string. So here it's being used for a string. So I'm executing length and I wrote the string that is Kartik. Then let's think what it will execute. So as it's a string, we'll have to count the characters right here. So it's Kartik. So let's count the characters. Here is Karthik. They're totally 7. So it will execute 7 for us, I think. Now length here is being used for a string. So I'm using the length method here, same. And in the list there is Guru, 5, 10, 20, 30, Kartik as the elements in the list. So here let's think what it will execute. So Guru 5, 10, 20, 30, Kartik, it is 6 right here. And because Guru 5, 10, 20, 30, Kartik becomes 6 elements. And for Kartik right here, length is being used for a string, it will execute 7. So 7, 6 I think. And len can be used in tuples, dictionaries and more, and even polymorphism as well. No, length. I mean, not for these things. These are the data types. It won't be used for data type, but for mostly polymorphism is on functions. So if I execute it, as I said, 7, 6. Polymorphism in plus operator. You may use the plus arithmetic Python operator multiple times in your programs. You use the same plus symbol whether you want to add two integers or concatenate two strings or extend two lists. The plus operator acts differently depending on the types of object it is operating on. For integers, it performs arithmetic addition and returns an integer. Here, this is numerical addition. So, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. So, A and B are variables. So, I'm going to execute A plus B. A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. So, when I add them, it becomes 30. As I said, as A is 10 and B is 20, when you add 10 plus 20, it becomes 30. So, for strings, it concatenates strings and returns a new string. Now I'm doing string concatenation. Fname equals Gurusai and Lname is Kartik. So even these two are both variables. So I'm executing and concatenating them, not adding them but concatenating them. As because these are strings. So Fname is Gurusai and Lname is Kartik. So when I execute it becomes Gurusai Kartik. Let's check. See, as I said, for two lists, it returns a new list which contains elements for a word for the original lists. So I'm going to use here for list, the plus operator. So I created a list named fruits and its elements are apple, mango and orange. And I created another list named vegetables and its elements are carrot and broccoli, cauliflower, corn. So I kept the name for food and it's equal to fruit plus vegetables. So these both are lists. It's extending, so food is becoming a list that contains apple, mango, orange, carrot, broccoli, cauliflower, corn. And I'm adding a new list that is 1, 2, 3. How can we say it's a list? As because here, can you see right here there are square brackets? So that's why it's called a list. So when I execute this one, if I execute it will come apple, mango, orange, carrot, broccoli, cauliflower, corn and 1, 2, 3. Let's find out. See, as I said, now polymorphism in multiplication operator, hash trick. This operator multiplies two numbers when used with integers of float data types or repeats the string, give it n times and concatenate them. Now I'm finding the product of two numbers. And remember guys, before plus is used for tuples, dictionaries and all data types. So the product two numbers, so I'm going to execute 3 multiplied by 10. So it would come 30. As 3 multiplied by 10 becomes 30. And now I'm repeating string. So Kati is a string and I'm going to multiply it with 4. It said here int times. Int means integer and 4 is an integer. That's why it said int times. So it will come Kati 4 times and this here 30 will execute first. Then it will come execute Kati 4 times. Let's see. See as I said, so it came 30 and 4 times Kati. Now polymorphic function definition with signature examples. Polymorphism, a simple demonstrated with Python function. So here I created a function named sum and its parameters are p, q, r, and here r value is 0. So I'm going to return p plus q plus r, and I'm going to execute here sum, and in the parameter in this parent is 5, 10, 20. So in the parameters of sum of p, q, r, that's why it comes p is 5, q is 10, r is 20. So it would execute if we add them all. So 5, it becomes 35. But here print sum 10 plus 5. It only came for p and q, but not for r. But luckily we gave already the value here is 0. So 10 plus 5 plus 0 equals 15. So first 35, then 15 right here. Let me execute it and show you. See, as I said. But how could we say this is polymorphism method? Polymorphic method. A function, as it's not in the body of a class. So, as because here is it is used here for 5 and 20 to get added, but here is used for different for 10 plus 5. But before it was used for 5, 10 and 20. Here is only used for 10 plus 5 plus 0. As r is equal to 0, so it comes. So polymorphism with class methods is user defined. User defined means what the user made. In the below example, we have, sorry, a mistake, 4 Indian states. States as classes, and each state have a capital and language. As user defined method that tells us capital of each state of language and language spoken. So let's go to the first class, that's Andhra Pradesh. It's capital. I created a method named capital, and the state here is Amravati, is the capital of Andhra Pradesh. And I created another method named language, and the state Telugu is the spoken language of Andhra Pradesh. So now I created another class named Uttar Pradesh and kept the same method, capital and language. So here for capital, the statement is Lucknow is the capital of Uttar Pradesh, and Hindi is language of Uttar Pradesh. And on class Tamil Nadu, the method capital is Chennai, is also called as Madras, is the capital of Tamil Nadu, and language is Tamil, is the spoken language. So next I created another class named Karnataka. Here I created a capital. I created a method named capital, and here I kept the statement Bangalore is the capital, and language is the Kannada is the spoken language. So I created some objects right here. So object AP is the object of Andhra Pradesh, object TN is the object of Tamil Nadu, object QP is the object of Uttar Pradesh, object Karnataka is the object of object car is the object of Karnataka. And here, how can you say here is polymorphic? So capital and language is created in the class Andhra Pradesh, but is used for so many different forms for Uttar Pradesh, for Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. That's why it is the polymorphic method. So for state in object AP, object TN, object PUP and object car, state dot capital and word, and the state dot language. So it's going to execute this here, the statement written for them. If I execute this, here Amravati is the capital of Andhra Pradesh as for capital, and Telugu is a spoken language. As for language, Chennai for capital and Tamil for language, Lucknow for the capital of Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow for the language of Uttar Pradesh, Bengaluru for the capital of Karnataka, and Kannada language of the language of Karnataka. In the below example, we implemented the method area. This method works on three of the objects: circle, triangle, and square. Or it operates differently on different classes. This is another example. We even did this example, and now let's do this. So I created a class named circle, created a constructor, and its parameter is radius. I created radius. So I created a method named area. So I'm returning. So this is the pi. So the formula of the area of the circle is pi or square. So this is the pi. This is the r, that's radius, and I'm square rooting with 2. This is the square. So, and now I created another class named triangle. There I kept two parameters, base and height. So self.b equals base and self.h equal to height. I created a method named area and returning. So here the formula of the triangle is 1 divided by 2 multiplied by b and multiplied by base and multiplied by height. So this is 1. So 1 divided by 2 is 0.5 and multiplied with the base and multiplied by the height. And now I created a class named square, the constructor, and I created a parameter named side. And I created a method named area. I'm returning self. So the formula of the square is side multiplied by side. So self.s is side, and I'm square rooting with 2. So sir equals 3. So this is 3 is the radius of the circle. As because sir is the object of circle and 3 is the radius of the circle, and I created another object named tri in the class triangle, and the base is 5 and the height is 10. So square is another object of square and its side is 5. So circle area is area, triangle area is area, square area is area. So let's see what it will come. So circle area here is 28.26, as because 3.14 is the pi and the radius is 3, and it's going to be square rooted by 2. So it is 28.26. And for triangle here 5 is the base, as 0.5 multiplied by base and multiplied by height. So that is 0.5 multiplied by 5 and multiplied again by 10. So it came 25. And finally square area is 25, as because it's side multiplied by side and its 1 is 5. So it came 25. Now we are going to discuss polymorphism with inheritance. We will be defining functions in the derived class that has the same name as the function in the base class. Method overriding. Inheritance. The child class inherits the method from the parent class. Also, it is possibility to modify a method a child class it has inherited from the parent class. Here we re-implement the function in the derived class. The phenomenon of re-implementing a function in the derived class is known as a method overriding. Here I created a class named birds, and I created a method named introduction. Here I wrote a statement: in the world there are many types pets or birds. And I created another fly. I created another method named fly, and here its statement is right. Most of the birds can fly, but some can't. So here I created a class named peacock, and I inheriting from birds. And here I created a class named a method named fly, and the statement I changed here is peacock can fly. This is called method overriding. I created another class named kiwis. It's inheriting from birds. And I created a method named here I created another method named fly, and its statement is different. Kiwi cannot fly. Here this is hierarchical inheritance, as because two child classes are inheriting from the same parent class. This is called hierarchical inheritance. So I created an object named object bird from the birds class, object of peacock from peacock's class, object kiwi from kiwi's class. So object dot introduction, object dot fly, birds dot fly. So here introduction, it's inheriting introduction, as it's not changing anything. So it will this statement will execute 3 times, but here it will enter from fly. For object dot birds for fly, it will execute this, but for peacock it will execute this, but for kiwis it executes this. Let me find out. See, as I said. Now let's discuss about method overloading. Method overloading or function overloading is a type of polymorphism in which we can define a number of methods with the same name but with a different number of parameters, as well as the parameters can be different types. These methods can perform a similar or different function. Python doesn't support method overloading on the basis of different number of parameters and functions. Operator overloading. Python supports operator overloading. This is another type of polymorphism where an operator behaves differently based on the type of operands. Plus operator adds 2 numbers and concatenates 2 strings. Multiplication or asterisk operator multiplies 2 numbers and when used with a string, and it repeats the string given entire and concatenates them. We already discussed this at the top. Can you see here? This is plus, not plus. This is multiplication, and from here it's plus. So this is the end of our video. For now,